welcome back to DXB today. A bit of a food special for you this evening here on the show. Studio smells absolutely divine, but we are celebrating the food heroes here in Dubai. Next guest started cooking in her very own home for friends. She then went on to open her first restaurant here in Dubai, which was the talk of the town, still is in fact. Now everyone in London is raving about it as well, because second opening was in the one and only Harrods as well. So when it comes to dishing out good advice, great ramen, who better to learn from than Chef Neha Mishra, the founder of the iconic Kinoya restaurant here. Great to have you with us.
Lovely to be here.
Nice to have you on board. I mean, that's a potted little history there. I mean, talk to me about the journey though as well. I mean, because the journey to setting up Kinoya was one born out of passion, is that right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, I just wanted to make ramen, and I fell in love with ramen. I was making it a lot, and people gravitated towards the process. And before I knew it, I mean, I'd hosted 7,000 people in my house by the time Kinoya, when I opened Kinoya. So yeah, it really is. It's a little love story.
It's a little love story, but again, you've invested so much into it. I remember when we spoke previously, and you were talking about the amount of time you spent over in Japan and other parts of the world just to get to the bottom of ramen. Is that right?
Yes,
yeah.
Because ramen is, one of those few disciplines in Japan that you don't really go to a culinary school for it. The only way to really learn is you eat as much as you can and then you decipher, which is what I did. I would go to Japan when I could and eat as many bowls of ramen as I could, and then dissect and come back home and start again.
I love that. I was like, for anyone that's out there that hasn't tried the restaurant, they need to try it because it's absolutely delicious. I wanted to ask you about, so you opened here in Dubai and it was a hit and a success up until today, and then moving to London as well. How was that transition, and how was the process opening in London in Harrods?
London was difficult because London is a big city, and ramen to London, I think, is what like Indian food to Dubai is. There's a lot of it, a lot of ramen. I was of course apprehensive, nervous. It was a big league, but we were received really well. It was a great learning. I'm glad I did it, and that's just it was a wonderful decision.
Neha, you're called the queen of ramen. How many different types of ramen can one try at Kinoya?
So on the menu in itself, we have 7 ramen that stay on there, and then we have a rotation of about 18 bowls that go on specials, and they have all been developed over time individually, and very, very meaningfully. So there's a lot of ramen to try, but every ramen has been thought about. It's not just, we don't just put it on there just because.
So how you make the ramen so delicious? Is it about the ingredients or?
I mean, it's a dish that just requires a lot of, it's my 10,000 plus hours of understanding a cuisine, and I think it's delicious because it's noodles and broth. Those two things are delicious. Put them together and it's magic. But yeah, I think ramen is very nuanced. People don't always understand this about ramen. How do you get 8 different broths to taste individually different? So a lot of work goes into it. It's ingredients, it's craft, it's patience and time, and attention to detail. And I think it's a combination of all those things that come together. Ramen is a very layered dish.
Now, what's your take on the food scene here in Dubai at the moment? I mean, the Kinoya, what you've built with Kinoya here and over in London now as well, would that have been possible without Dubai, or did that convince you to go in that particular path?
Oh, it's only possible because of Dubai. I mean,
Really?
Dubai is one of the very few places where you can have an idea, and I mean, I was just making food at home, and now it's it's number 3 in the region at the moment. We got voted. I mean, we won that, and that's amazing. That can only happen in Dubai. I think from a culinary point of view, I spend a lot of time in London at the moment as well because of Harrods and Kinoya there. To be honest, Dubai, for the first time, I can say that it's blowing my mind more than London. Food scene, it's incredible. The range we have, the diversity we have, but also the seriousness in which the food's being made. This is not amateur anymore in any kind of way.
Yeah. Neha, I wanted to ask you, because Mr. Taster is a food blogger or a food content creator, I want to ask you the relationship that restaurants and food concepts in general have with social media influencers, because a lot of them can make or break you. So how important is it to sort of reach out to people with influence in the food scene?
I think it's a tricky one, because I feel like I think when you host somebody in your restaurant, I think both parties have to be open to what that collaboration is. And us at Kinoya now, especially, we're always happy to have worldly travelers in terms of food come and see us, and we're open to it. And I think it's a conversation, right? Like, you want to try the food, we want to obviously have as much visibility as possible as well, so it works both ways.
Neha, I just wanted to ask you, for anyone that's maybe thinking of opening a restaurant, or anyone emerging in this scene, something that you wish you knew before you started, an advice that you can give out to people.
I wish I knew before I started. It's a lot harder than making food and putting it out there. I think a common misconception is you make really good food, so you should open a restaurant.
Yes.
Food is just one element of it. You have to, if you're thinking about it, if you're serious about it, learn as many aspects of the business as possible. You're going to be an operator probably more than you're going to be a chef a lot of the times.
I love what you said, honestly, because that's what I tell one of my friends cooks really well, and every single time we go to her house, we're like, you have to open a restaurant. But yeah, it's just one element of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's new for Kinoya? What's in store?
We like to pace ourselves. I think, London is very stable now, which is wonderful, which gives me time to think about what's next. Don't know yet. The right thing comes along, and that's how I approach it, rather than trying to find it.